What up, what up, y'all? You already know it's me and I'm back. Once again, shout out to Miss Kenya Ware for putting this panel of females together. We've been needing more females on here and get more of the female perspective on hip hop and the streets and stuff like that. So we got Babe Animal and a couple other female guests that's supposed to be joining us. And we got my co-host Loco. Loco, what up?
What's going on? What's going on, Mac Head's a Maniac?
You real low, Loco, I guess because you're so far. Welcome to the panel, babe.
Hey, is that better?
Yes.
Yes, awesome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Shout out to Kenya. Shout out to Kenya. Thank you so much, Kenya.
Yeah, Miss Kenya does great things. She's good at pulling people together and having everybody on time. So shout out to Kenya.
Yeah.
How you doing, Babe Animal?
I'm doing good, y'all. I'm in the studio right now. It's been a 10-hour day, and this is like perfect timing because I just finished ghostwriting for some people, and I'm excited to kind of, meet you guys and meet the other artists and talk about what I'm doing. So I'm happy to be here.
Give us some background on you, where you grew up and how you got into music.
Yeah, so you guys know my name is Babe Animal. Y'all could call me Babe. From Atlanta, born and raised. West Side Zone 1 is my hood that I claim. Everybody from Atlanta, we all claim our zones. And I'm like a native. My dad, granddaddy, grandma, great-grandma, great-granddaddy from Atlanta. I've been singing all my life. I'm a PK. A lot of people don't know that. Some people do, but to those that don't, I'm a preacher's kid. So I grew up singing in the church. Music is pretty much all I know. I eat, sleep, and breathe music. Sang my first solo at 2 at church. Used to be a choir director. Never looked back. Started singing with live bands when I was in 8th grade. I used to sing jazz, swing, straight ahead, soul, rock, funk, you name it. And I went to performing arts school, North Atlanta. Shout out to all the graduates of North Atlanta, by the way. I love you, and I do what I do for y'all so you can be inspired and not ever give up on your dream. And that's pretty much a little bit about my background.
And we got Sylky Fyne joining us as well.
You gotta give Sylky a few minutes, locos.
Okay, no problem.
Just walked in.
Take your time.
I will say, while he gets settled, I've been on tour. I got a chance to open up for a couple of people. I'm very humbled by the experience, not the name drop, but like I got to open for Maroon 5, Steven Tyler, Lionel Richie, just being a working vocalist and a singer and trainer. So now I'm back home working on my first real indie solo project, and that's just where I am right now. And I can't wait to share it with y'all, share it with the world.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. How you doing, Miss Henry?
Hi, everybody. Sorry I'm a little late. I had another conference call that I had to jump off of. But hi, everybody. I'm Shari.
What's up?
Shari, Babe just gave us some background on her. Can you tell us about where you grew up and how you got into music?
I grew up in South Central Los Angeles, actually in Windsor Hills, California. I'm a neighborhood girl. I started in the business early on when I was a rapper initially, signed to Easy, but then I eventually became his assistant, and that's where I started in the music business. And I worked for him until the day that he died. I did A&R, and I also had companies and things together with him. And then I also have worked for Queen Latifah Inc. in Flavor Unit Management, where we managed Queen Latifah, Naughty by Nature, Latifah, Outkast, Faith Evans. So I was their West Coast director. And then I've also been the urban director of ASCAP for about 7 years in Los Angeles. I've had many labels and production companies. I've managed a slew of producers and artists. I also, from God, you name it. I've worked with Pac and Dre and Easy and Latifah and a lot of newer artist game. Grace, Baby S, tons and tons and tons of Los Angeles and writers and producers. I'm a music supervisor as well. I do clearance. I have a company called CIW2 that has been in existence since 1994, which does management, clearance, publishing, global publishing and administration. I have a gang of catalogs that are pretty major that I administrate for that own their own publishing. And I've done that for a while. And now I am also producing movies, film, and TV. So that's where I'm at. And I've been in the game for about 30 years. So I'm a OG.
Yeah, you haven't just been in the game, you know the game.
That's awesome.
I can say that I came in an era where the game was really, really high. And, you know, the budgets were great. And I learned, you know, a lot of business from my godfather and who used to be my attorney for a very long time, Virgil Roberts, who's considered the Black legal eagle who has actually made music precedents in law. So I was fortunate to have him as a neighbor and my godfather coming in the business. So pretty much I learned from the best. So I would always redline my own agreements, and he'd be like, "Why do you need me?" I'd be like, "Because I need you to make it official." So I have some really great studies in the game, and I learned a lot from Easy as well.
Okay. A lot of people in the comment section are talking about how beautiful you two are, which
thank you.
Thank you so much.
I want to get to that later on, but I want to give you, we got 3 more females is backstage, so I want to wait until they come on before I ask the question, if I can remember. I should jot it down because my memory is so bad.
Hey, my eyes are bad. Who is this young sister? Is this Babe? What's her name again?
Babe.
I know.
Babe Animal.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, cutie.
Hi, beautiful. Much respect to you because everything you just said, like, I know being a female in this male-dominated industry, you know, is not easy, but you make it. I don't even know you yet, but just your grace and your beauty, I could just tell you make it look easy, and you're professional, and I just want to give you my respect. You know?
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. And you do hip hop, correct?
Hip hop. I sing, I write hip hop, I ghostwrite hip hop, but I created.
Are you the trap girl, the trap rock girl?
Yeah, I created my own genre called trap rock because I'm a rocker and
I did. I checked you out today and I love it. We'll have to talk. I actually managed a heavy metal group for a long time. That was dope as hell.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, beautiful.
Yes, nice to meet you too. This is great.
So before I was, I don't want to say rudely, before I was nice interrupted. I was gonna say though, to the people in the comment section giving you guys compliments, you guys are more than just beauty, you know, it's brains and talent. And that was one of the main reasons why Kenya even got at me with this idea. You know, I don't think our sisters should always be looking at it just being beautiful. You know what I mean? To me, that's
absolutely. Thank you, Kev. And a big shout out to Kenya. She is a sister in this business that I've known for a very long time that I highly respect. And thank you so much for including me, Kenya, and thinking of me and having me on your panels, Kev. I appreciate that.
Now my projector wanna be broke.
Sylky, Fyne, you're not ready.
Let me fix mine.
Sylky!
All days, y'all wouldn't believe my car got total parked.
Oh, I had that last year. My car got total parked.
Get the message today.
Sylky, you're just trying to be all perfect and everything. I mean, you know.
I'm almost ready.
Okay, I'll give you a few more minutes, sweetheart.
I can't hear.
Hold on, you guys. Let me grab a tissue.
Okay, I'll give you a few more minutes, Sylk, till you get ready. Yeah, babe, I'm interested. You know, the preacher's daughter is always like the worst one in the neighborhood, right?
That's what they say, but it's not true. We normal, just like everybody else. People just judge us harder, which I will say, growing up in the church prepared me for the music industry and the public, because if you can't survive being a first family, being a judge, preacher's kid, you ain't gonna make it in the music industry, because you get judged, talked about, all kind of stuff, even more. Honestly, I hate to say that, but yeah, I would be at parties in college and they'd be like, oh, that's Reverend Turner's daughter. What you doing here? And I'm like, we go to the same church. What you doing here? I'm normal. I'm just hanging out. I'm in college. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing anything you're not doing. Like, don't judge me.
So you are a preacher's kid.
Oh yeah, ex-choir director.
Ah. Preacher's kids are usually very talented musicians.
Yeah,
So,
it's kind of an innate thing, you know.
Mm-hmm. God-given. Hey.
What you smoking
Where's
on, Mr. Seatbelt?
I've been trying to offer y'all something for a while, y'all.
Oh, who is that? You know, I can barely see because I'm on my phone. I didn't do this on the laptop. Who is that at the top?
That's my co-host.
Oh, your co-host. Hi, co-host.
You gotta pass it.
Am I crooked, y'all? Okay, there we go.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Everything sound good and look good on your end.
Oh yeah.
Jamila Thompson's having a problem getting her reception right. And Sylk Fyne's still trying to look perfect for the camera.
Tell them to make sure that wherever they are, they log into the Wi-Fi of wherever they are, because I had to.
Yeah.
Right. Kenya, can you let Jamila know to use her Wi-Fi on her phone? Also, Kenya as well, if you can. I don't have any numbers. They can hear us, but I can't personally reach out to them. So how did you meet Eazy-E?
Oh gosh, that's unusual story. I was a rapper first, actually, and Rhythm D, who's a producer and produced for Bone and Easy and all of us, he was my DJ, and he was 15 years old, and I was a rapper. And actually, Broomfield, I was with Broomfield, rest in peace, and this guy named Sales, who I don't know where he's at, but I used to be his partner. And anyways, I was a rapper. And I met somehow, I don't remember how I met Arabian Prince, and he loved me, and I was so excited about meeting Easy and Dr. Dre. And so I stayed down with
I can't hear
Arabian.
you guys.
Hello?
Okay, sorry, she can't hear.
I told you I'm doing a.
Sorry, she couldn't hear us. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and then I got introduced to Arabian Prince, and he liked me. And then at the same time, he was doing JJ Fad's album. So I didn't really know anything about rap or anything like that. My cousin was DJ Battery Brain, who was a pretty, famous DJ around that Dr. Dre, Egyptian Lover aspect, and he got me into it. And then I was introduced by Arabian. So after 3 weeks, I kept asking, when am I going to meet Easy and Dre? When am I going to meet Easy and Dre? And he was like, oh, well, soon. So about 3 weeks, a couple of months had gone by. I would just go to the studio, kind of stay down to be around. And then a girlfriend of mine named Jennifer, we went to the Palladium to see Tony. And then there was Easy and all his security guards and all of that. So I was like, oh my God, there he is, Jennifer. So I went up to him and I tried to bust through the little crowd. And I was like, Easy, it's me, Shari, your new artist. And he was like, I don't know you. And I was like, yo, did Arabian tell you? Didn't Arabian tell you about me? And he was like, oh, you the girl Arabian's been talking about. Well, Arabian, we're about to kick him out the group, so you need to be down with us. And of course, I was like, oh, hell yeah. So then I was, and then I was on a slot, waited to come out after and be recorded after the DOC. And so I just kind of stayed around, been down, and they went out on the 100 city tour. And I was impatient. I was 18 years old. And then I met Bobcat. And then Bobcat ended up signing me. He's a good friend to this day, but he still owes me 15 grand and we still talk about it to this day. So I signed with Bobcat. And then when Easy came back off a tour, because, phones didn't really work, I was paging him. And so by the time he came back, I was already signed. I was in a bad deal. He looked at my contract. He had Jerry Heller look at it. By this time, 6 months had gone by. He was like, well, he's not going to pay her the minimum compensation. So, after the 6 months, we'll be done. So during that 6 months, and if you ever see the NWA Express Yourself video, that's me in the video. The day that I asked Easy, I'm in the video as an artist, dancing, just doing, just being down with the crew, my little Raiders hat, with a little Shari money on the side. And that day is the day that I decided, that I was also in college at LMU at the time. And I decided that I did not want to do rap because it wasn't really in my heart, but I wanted to be an executive. I was going to school for business management and accounting. And so I watched him one day, and he had a beeper, 2 beepers. And I said, why do you have 2 beepers? And he said, oh, one's for business and one's for friends and family. And I noticed all day at the video shoot that he never picked up the business beeper. And I kept saying, why are you not calling your office back? Because I mean, obviously they're not calling a chit chat. They need some information. And he said, you know, because I'm busy, I don't have anything to do. So I went home. I was 18 years old. I wrote this list of all the things that I could do. I was like, okay, I want to be, I knew I wanted to be his assistant, but I was like, maybe he doesn't want me to work right with him like that. So I said I could be his in-house accountant. It was so funny because I hand wrote this list, and I used to act as a child. So I stapled my headshot to it. And I said I was going to be the tour manager, never went out on tour. I said I could do promotions and sales. I went through all this list of things that I've never done before. And he took the list and he looked at me and he laughed. And then he said, well, let me think about it. And then from 3 days later, he gave me a call, told me to come up to the office. He went in the office and talked to Jerry for about 15 minutes. Jerry came out mad, red as a beet, kicked the door open, looked at me and said, oh, I guess you work for Goddamn Ruthless. Welcome to Goddamn Ruthless. And then he went in, closed the door, slammed the shit. I was horrified. Eric came out. My eyes were big. He came out just nonchalant, like nothing happened, like, come on out. And when I got out the office, I was like, oh my God, Eric, he hates me. I can't work here. And he was like, Jerry hates everybody. And it's not his company. So he has no right. And matter of fact, I don't even want you to be up here because I'm barely up here. So you got a house, you got an office, you got a phone. I'm going to get you a fax machine. So then I was so excited about getting this little beeper. I got a beeper. And back then a beeper was the shit. And then I asked for a phone, and the phones back then, now phones are $1,000, but back then $1,000 for a phone was crazy. So he said I could get a phone, and from then I thought I was the shit. And that was the beginning of my start in this business. I started working with him, and actually I really started working with Flavor Unit first because they would hire me independently to help and do stuff on the West Coast. So they didn't have a lot of money to fly and have their artists go. So that was more part-time. And a lot of people don't know that. They think I worked for Ruthless first, but I worked for Latifah and Flavor Unit first. But Eric hired me full-time, and then I worked as his assistant until the day he died. I know that was a long story, but I had to get that out.
Oh, that was cool. Sylky Fyne, how you doing?
What's up, Kev Mac, baby? I want to apologize to my panel. The unbelievable happened because I'm a real LA girl. So I was at home sleep last night when a car decided to smash every parked car. The car hit a car to hit my car. So I've been at collision shops, had to go get a rent-a-car. My voice, I cussed everybody out that was outside because you know Sylk. I'm gonna go over the top. Hey, Sister Shari, my Ruthless family.
Hi, baby.
Hey, I'm here. I'm here, guys. But the voice is a little ratchet because I cussed everybody.
Can I tell you guys a little story about Sylk? I know Sylk because Sylk and I came from Ruthless together, and it's a really quick story, and I think you guys will really enjoy it, and it's hilarious. You have to know Sylk. Sylk is an MC from Los Angeles. She is the freestyle mic snatching OG. When I say mic snatching, she'll snatch a mic from anybody, whoever it is. I don't care if it's Jay-Z, whoever. I've seen her snatch many mics on the stage. So I met Sylk when I was Easy's assistant, really young. And she used to call everybody that didn't know him personally had to call me. They didn't even call the office. They all called me. He reverted all calls to me. So I was getting a message. And at the time we were working on some album. And of course, everybody knows that Easy doesn't write. So Sylk was always like a good freestyler and, you know what I mean, making up rhymes. And, you know, a lot of girls wasn't, you know, into that, especially in LA. So she always stood out amongst the crowd as a female MC and just fearless. And so one day she called and she was like, oh, hi, I'm just Sylky Fyne. You know, I'm a rapper from LA. And, you know, I heard that Easy was, you know, looking for writers. And, you know, I got some fly shit and whatever. And I was like, okay, let me take your number down and whatever. And so I gave, you know, Eric the message like I would give all the messages. So this happened for about 3 or 4 times that she would call, and then she would start rapping and freestyling, talk about, all the stuff that, that Easy needed her as a rapper and da-da-da-da-da. So each message became aggressively worse as a that she started talking about him and talking about how he needed her, and like he was fronting and all of this stuff, and it was so hilarious and so good. I saved the message and I said, Easy, you have got to meet this girl. Listen to this. And we fell out laughing, and that is the reason how she ended up hooking up with Easy, becoming an artist, a part of a group called GBM that I managed, and it was the funniest shit ever. So that's Sylk right there, you guys.
Even, I'm Dolly Parton. Yeah. So I shared that story in all of my interviews because I was young, fresh out of high school, and I would freestyle. And then that one day I buried my grandmother and I just went off on Easy. You little short motherfucker, you's a punk, you's a buster. I didn't really care. Charis saved all the messages. Talking shit got me signed to Ruthless Records.
Oh, that's what's up. You the rider for Ruthless Records, huh? Sylk.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, I hear you now. I hear you now.
I can hear you.
Okay. So where did you grow up at, Sylk?
I grew up in the west side of Los Angeles. I was raised all over from 110th and Western, 111 neighborhood, all the way to the 30s, Harlem, all the way to the West Side School. So I was always a gangster bitch. But I had the gangster bitch mentality that made me different from the average gangster bitch because I was educated. And I never was a gang member because I was respected by all the sets. And like I tell everybody, I grew up in the Midtown, West Side, Yank, Mob School, but it ain't my fault that my pussy good because all my niggas was from neighborhood. So, it's West Coast love.
Yeah, I know you're trying to leave the 60s out the equation. Jamila, you got your mic on mute. When you're on mute, you can introduce yourself. You hear me, Jamila? It says your mic is on mute. Oh, Shari's back. Babe, you got something you want to say, babe?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's see. Okay, are we back in? Let's see. I could talk about trap rock and how I came about it.
How was it? How'd you come up with it?
Yeah. Okay, so just to give you a little bit about my background, which kind of I feel makes me be able to relate to so many people, and a lot of people can relate to me because I told y'all earlier I'm a PK, which means preacher's kid. But before my dad got saved, my dad was in the streets. I'm not gonna get too deep into like everything and all the details, but he was running shit, and my granddaddy was running shit on the west side, and my granddad owned the first black club, first private club. He ran the numbers. My granddaddy owned a private golf course. You know what I'm saying? Nothing but like the OGs, the real pimps, like everybody. So my granddaddy had a club where when the Ohio players came in town, Brick, like all the old school bands, Shaka Khan, they would chill after their shows and go to my granddaddy club and turn up. But it was like entertainers and OGs, gangsters, like the real shit. And this was like the life I saw when I was a kid before my dad got saved and changed his life. And right now I'm actually helping my dad come up with this book called From the Trap House to the Church House, because he literally changed his life and is doing amazing stuff in the community. for like homeless people, serving like all the areas he used to trap and be living on the other side. He actually is doing like good stuff and helping people get jobs, get clean, all that kind of stuff. So
That's
I will
dope.
say, even though I could easily use that as a negative and say, oh, my childhood, I saw this and saw that and be a victim, I actually take the negative and make it a positive. You see what I'm saying? And for me, trap is not what everybody else thinks. Like, I know what the game is about. Like, I don't have to do a video and do stuff that I never seen. Like, I saw a lot of shit when I was little that most people saw in movies. So, like, for me, trap is like, take risk and prosper. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's about that hustle mentality. You know what I mean? How to take that mentality and put it to other stuff and use it for positive. So that's a little bit about my background, but I also used to be in rock bands. Like, I was that black girl that was like at all the rock shows growing up, because my dad also put me on to like Zeppelin's, Frank Zappa, Guns N' Roses, like every Jimi Hendrix, like every rocker you can think of. He was like a black hippie, and he was in the streets and loved rock and roll. And so I grew up hearing all this stuff, and I found a way to mash it together because I was tired of people comparing me to like, oh, you're gonna be a Black Pink, you're gonna be a Black Gwen Stefani, and I'm like, no, I love those artists, but I'm Babe. Like, I am who I am. I don't want to be a Black so and so. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me be who I am and be the artist that I am. And so I said, you know what? Instead of me trying to over explain myself, or, oh, let me send you some Rihanna records, let me send you records like Beyonce. I love those artists and I respect them, but I'm not them. And it's like, I want one day for people to say, you want some Babe records. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I create a lane for myself where I have an identifiable sound, a very distinct sound, where I can rap and sing, because I'm a singer first, that also loves to rap and can rap and write raps. But it's like, I really I'm not exaggerating. I went into deep meditation about this at one period in my life, and I had an epiphany, and I was like, trap rock. I came from rock. I did a lot of rock shows. Like I told you earlier, I got a chance and very privileged to open for Steven Tyler, Maroon 5, Carrie Underwood. But I'm like, but it's so much more to me than just a rocker. I'm from Atlanta, and before trap was even a genre, before it was a name, like, we all know Atlanta, we love the strip clubs in Atlanta. We got those 808s. We got that cadence that make people move, that make the girls shake their ass, that make men want to throw their money up or turn up. And it's like, that is a part of my culture and my DNA too, because I'm a native of Atlanta. So I was like, how can I merge the two together? And the word trap rock came to me in 2009. And people were laughing at me like, oh, that's never going to work, blah, 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 blah. And I just tuned it out. I felt like all those opinions were distractions. And I was like, I'm going to just make this work because, A, I got a real band. I work with real musicians. And the musician community is a whole nother community outside of the production community and the producers and engineers. And I'm like, I got all these friends that are musicians and they respect me. Let me see how I could mash up the live music with the 808s. So I was very honored to be able to lock down one of my dearest friends who I look up to and is a muse to me. His name is David Wow. He was the guitar player for Outkast. And, you know, they're not touring anymore and they're, you know, doing their own thing. But now he's my guitar player and I made him my music director. So now I got the 808s. I got that Dirty South cadence, the beats, and all the bounce. But I also got him laying these amazing guitar riffs on my project and when I do live shows. And so me not wanting to fit in and be like anybody else or be a Black so-and-so or another replica of whoever is out, I was like, I'm going to create my own destiny. I'm going to create my own lane. And I want to be known for this and also be an inspiration to other people who don't necessarily fit in a box. I can sing rock, I can sing pop, and I'm a songwriter as well. You know what I mean? And I don't believe in being defined. Like, you didn't define Prince or Michael Jackson or Tina Turner. They had pop, rock, and R&B records.
Right.
You know?
I love it.
Jamila, can you introduce yourself?
Over there, like this one.
Jamila.
For some reason, I can't hear.
I'm back. I got a good connection because I had a bad connection.
We hear you, Jamila. Introduce yourself.
For some reason, I cannot hear. I don't know your name, but KM.
Yeah.
I can't hear you at all.
Turn your volume on your phone. You like this?
Mine was doing that too, Kev.
Okay.
And it just,
I think
Yeah,
I'm
like I
back.
can hear everybody except for you.
Oh,
Oh, well.
Basically.
so y'all ain't heard my story yet.
Okay.
I love your personality.
Can one of you
Thank
guys
you, babes, and I'm gonna follow you, girlfriend, so we can connect.
hold on, Sylk? Can one of you guys tell Jamila to introduce herself and give us some background on her?
Jamila,
Hi,
can you
Jamila.
introduce-
Hey.
Jamila.
Hey. what's
Kev
up?
wants you to introduce, since you can't hear him, he wants you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
All right, what's up? Sorry guys that I was a little late. I had some issues, but yeah,
Do
I'm
you think she
Jamila.
needs to reconnect like I had to? Because I had to disconnect and reconnect.
Yeah, let me
Can you
try
hear
this.
me, Jamila?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I had the same issue when I first started, and I had to come out and then reconnect. But make sure your Wi-Fi is tuned in to wherever you are.
Okay, I'm gonna do that real quick. I'm gonna just leave and then I'm gonna hop back right
Yeah,
in.
come back. Yeah, because that's what I had to do, because I lost the volume as well.
Okay.
Okay. Sylk, what you doing over there rapping?
Okay, so basically, let me reintroduce myself. Born and raised in Los Angeles, I'm from the West Side area, period. Well loved and respected. So, of course, I worked with Tupac, I worked with Eazy-E, Snoop Dogg, Bone Thugs and Harmony. And after losing all those guys, I really didn't want to do music anymore. So, I ended up connecting with Mike Conception, and I was the ghost writer for Romeo and Juliet. Because after I lost Eazy-E, Tupac, I was like, F the rap game, because they really believed in me. They believed in my talent. So I went over to Michael Conception's camp and I ghost wrote. I'm a writer first. So I wrote Romeo and Juliet, the hit
Platinum hit.
single,
Platinum.
and the girl couldn't deliver it. So I delivered the record. RCA fell in love with my personality, my whole charisma. They shot me out to New York. Next thing I know, the record was all mine. I didn't sign any agreements. And I thought ASCAP was protecting me, but they weren't. So for many years, nobody gave me my publishing. So in 2018, me going pro perp without getting a lawyer, without getting my gangster homies to go tie niggas up and all that, Michael Conception finally told ASCAP she owns all the publishing. We don't have a agreement to present. So I went off on ASCAP. I talked shit to them. Said, how am
Not
I
me.
a member?
Not
How
me.
am I a member of ASCAP and you just let my publishing? So it was a lot of ins and outs and everybody got paid but Sylky Fyne. So I spent about 3 years bitter, angry, and mad because I came in the game as a writer. And for me to be with ASCAP and all these records, and even after Romeo and Juliet, I got Snoop Dogg and Busy Bone to do a song with me. So if you owned all my publishing in 1998, how come in 2000 I did a whole new record and they didn't get none of that publishing? So I was very angry with ASCAP.
Well, let's start there. Let me hold that for a second. ASCAP didn't do that. Michael Conception did that. They go by what's turned on then.
I let ASCAP know that it took 20 years for ASCAP to say, oh my God, we have to give her back all her credit. Because back then, nobody was pushing that Lorraine lyrics was very much in effect. So before ASCAP created, I have a catalog. In my catalog, ASCAP created, but back then we didn't have social media like we do now. So back then, ASCAP created all these song titles and totally didn't include no publishing.
And that's
So whether Michael Conception did it or not, I was a member with ASCAP first. I worked with a lady, Madeline Smith, and then Mike Conception hired her. So the book, yes, my book, yes, I'm shopping the film, the Romeo and Juliet urban story, hip hop broke my heart because it was a lot of snakes and everybody was money hungry. But see, I'm rich in spirit, so can't nobody break me. Materialistic was never me. I am Gucci. I am the material. So I had to outgrow the bitterness, outgrow the anger. You know, I went back to the hood because the rap game was whack. It was Hollywood, it was fake, and it was very phony. So I'm allergic to all that. It did not go with me. And I felt like the person who believed in me was Easy E. And that was the best deal ever. So after not being reciprocated and not being appreciated, I didn't want to do music no more. But right now, if I go grab a microphone, I will tear up any show live without rehearsal because I'm a performer.
That's true.
And I didn't need a video. I didn't want to oversaturate myself. I didn't want to be, oh, I'm in the limelight. Hip hop broke my heart, but the hood didn't break my heart. So to go from #1 on the Billboard to have to go back to the hood, because all these music heads, they didn't have me in their best interest. There's no way that you do a record 2 years later. If Michael Conception, I love you, Mike, mwah, if he owned my publishing, he would have took the publishing from the Snoop Dogg, Busy Bone, Silky Fyne record. So when you're dealing with females on the West, you're dealing with a lack of promotion. The people are not pushing. There is a really reason why Silky Fyne is the only solo female artist to hit the Billboard charts. Now you tell me why no other rappers solo, not groups, not anything, after Silky Fyne. Shouts out to Sugar T, shouts out to Yo-Yo, shouts out to my girls. They were before me. But after me, in 1998, I want to know what's the problem? Because ain't no females hit the Billboard charts since me. The lady that didn't get no publishing.
Ladies, this is her story is a good example for you guys and me as a publishing administrator that I deal with people that own their own publishing. That's a good example and to take with you. And when you have like someone like you, babe, that you might even produce your own music or you have your own band and you're your own writer, I would always say to copyright your material with the Library of Congress well before you put it out or put it on SoundCloud or anything like that. Because those things, that one registration,
they don't really happen.
They
don't really happen now. But back in 1997,
no, it does. No, it still does. I do this. Yeah, it still does. People get ganked for publishing all the time. Right. Let me finish my point. They get ganked all the time, still to this day. As long as when you don't when you don't protect yourself and you rely on other people to do it, or at least know how to do it and to look back. So the thing is, let me make my point, Sylk. One second. To the young ladies that are here, you need to copyright your stuff, which would be with the Library of Congress, your Form PA. They used to do it to where you could have a collection of songs, meaning like if you had a whole little EP or 10 or so songs, you could register them together under one catalog. They have stopped that as of this year, and it's about $55 or $65 per song. But that is a sure shot way of not having somebody steal your material. Registrations also. Even if you have a publishing deal or you have somebody that's responsible for doing it, you check that stuff. And you have to register your songs. Not I gave somebody my information and then I don't know what happened. You have to literally go to your performance rights organization, ASCAP, BMI, or CSAC, whichever you're affiliated with, and register the song. Because if you don't register the song, then somebody else will register it for you and either claim your percentage, or it'll be alleviated like nothing. Like maybe they didn't know Sylkies, and some of it might have that's actually cool if it's a blank designee. But 9 times out of 10, somebody's going to claim that percentage out of that 100%. So you are going to copyright, and you are going to register once it comes out. You do not register with any of your performance rights organization until it's actually released. They don't want demos, they don't want to whatever, but now in an aspect of digital media and putting it out yourself, you want to, if you're going to put it out, you're going to do your little visuals, you know that this is going to be a single or something that you're putting out to the world, you're giving the DJs, you're putting it on your thing, it must be registered, because that is how Spotify, that is how YouTube, that is how any radios, television, synchronization, mechanicals for movies, every aspect, I mean for records, every aspect has to be registered. And then that's how everybody knows your streams and your YouTubes, and everybody knows who to pay. And if you do not have your publishing company, if you're not signed, you own your own publishing, that is what you are required to do. And even if you don't, I would still check the checker. You know how many people that I know, like let's say Quick, I'm sure he wouldn't mind, his rest in peace, his old manager, but he had years of songs. I'm talking about hits that were never registered. And at the time when I worked there, they don't go back after a year. None of the performance rights organizations. So if you didn't register within that year and it was popping and cracking, they're not going to go back and give you your money. Back then they did. I used to go to the president because I used to see how they used to do the Caucasian writers. Oh, we forgot. Oh, whatever. Can you retro-elect back? You know how many people in hip hop, and that's probably why I'm kind of loved within the industry of West Coast hip hop, because I did that for a lot of the people on the West Coast. And I'm not talking about just Quick. There's major writers that I retro-elected back for the lack of representation or the lack of knowledge of doing the business portion to get paid. Now, not unless you just want to do this to just have fun, but the business portion has to be done. So things like that, her example of, and it wasn't ASCAP, it was actually Mike. Because I remember, Mike, if you're going to be taken, I remember even talking to him, not about you specifically.
I remember talking
but
to
anybody that you're going to bring and you're going to gank their publishing, do not sit them in my office. I don't intimidate easy, and I'm going to tell whoever sits in my face the truth. So he never brought anybody there to see. I don't know what's going on with my phone. Oh, it keeps blanking out. To do so. And that is the responsibility of you guys. So even if you have somebody that's supposed to be doing it, I always teach my clients, even the ones that I do the things for, how it's done. I show them. You might need to do this yourself. I might not be around. Something might happen. Know what to do and how to track your money. That's it.
All right, I want to ask you guys all a question, but first I want Jamila to introduce herself.
And I still can't hear you. I don't know. I can hear everyone except for you.
So he said, Jamila, go ahead and introduce yourself. I'll relay his questions to you.
Okay,
and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so hey everybody. My name is Jamila. I am from Atlanta, Georgia. I still live in Atlanta, Georgia. Basically, a little bit of my background. Oh yeah, of course. A little bit of my background. I first and foremost was a singer. Did talent shows, did tons of shows all over. That led me to doing The Voice season 4, and I was on Team Usher. And then after that, I went overseas. I went to China and I toured over there just singing, just straight singing. I did singing competitions. I just sang whenever I could sing. I started songwriting when I was younger, and then I joined the CSAC. But to be real, I did not really start seriously songwriting until kind of recently. Now I write for like a lot of different artists, and I'm doing like sync license placements now. And I have a couple songs that are being repped by some publishers for that. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. But singing is still like my first leg. And I definitely do plan on dropping like an artist project, but kind of like what Babe was saying. I'm very versatile. I literally listen to all genres. I've grown up listening to old school music. I listen to a lot of trap music, but I also listen to a lot of different genres of music, and I write a lot of different genres of music. So I was never really sold on choosing one lane, which kind of prevented me from going down the artist path, because it's just hard to decide, like, you know what I mean? Like, dang, what's my sound? And then, you know, I've had people approach me. They want to cut projects, and of course it's their writers, it's their sound, but I wasn't really feeling it. And it was just like, I don't know what my sound is, but it's not that. So, you know what I'm saying? I've found a lot of joy, and I would say some success in writing for multiple artists across multiple genres. I do find a lot of satisfaction in that. But I do want to drop my own, but I just don't know, you know, what that sound is going to be, because I've always been pigeonholed too, just based off of my voice. Like, even when I was on The Voice, I auditioned with a Beyonce song, and then I got on Team Usher, and Pharrell was actually on the show then too. And I remember I was in the room with Pharrell, and they had given me a second Beyonce song, and I told him, I was like, dude, like, I like Beyonce, but like, that's not even really my vibe. Like, I'm more alternative. I'm more edgy. You know, I'm from Atlanta, so I listen to a lot of trap music. I'm a lot more edgy than that. You feel me? Like, I'm not that straight line R&B, but they wouldn't listen to me. They pigeonholed me anyways. It's a show, whatever.
Oh, wait.
You're good.
Hello.
Go ahead.
No, she's off.
Oh, am I off too?
No, go ahead.
Tell her the good story.
Hello.
Yeah. Sylk.
Hello.
Sylk, tell her to keep going.
Excuse me.
Tell Jamila.
Can y'all hear me?
Tell Jamila.
To keep going.
Keep going, Jamila. You're sounding great.
Yo, you can hear me.
Yes, I love what you're saying.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Okay. So yeah, you know, I've worked with a lot of dope people. Like, I would say, like, the last recent dope producer I worked with, his name is Buddha. He's from Atlanta. He's produced for Migos, Travis Scott, 2 Chainz. He did the Gunna and Chris Brown track. You like it what you see? Everything is up. He did that track. And I love working with him, but this is another topic I wanted to get into, just as far as females is concerned in the music industry. I found myself, it was hard to work with people long term, just because it always goes down this path of, you know, just hey, you're a female, you're attractive, woo woo. And then everything goes downhill, and it's just, people get distracted, and then like, business isn't taken like 100% seriously anymore, and it's just hard to keep people focused, especially if you don't have, I feel like, as a female, that proper representation in the studio with you. And also, like, I was really young when I started. I was young, I was a teenager in the studio, so, you know, these guys, it's like male dominated, and they have a tendency, I feel like, to just kind of take you down a different direction that's unproductive. So that's another issue that I've had with the industry. I mean, I love music, but I will say that I do kind of have like a love and hate relationship with the industry aspect of it. Just kind of like what you were saying about like registering your songs with the PROs, and getting split sheets up front, and like all of that
Yes.
stuff. It could be a lot.
Yeah.
And then, when you're in the studio, people are not talking about that. You're just vibing, and next thing you know, you have a record done.
And that's what happened to me, because I was 23 years old. I mean, your first big record deal, of course, I thought these people had my back. But when you go back to 1997 versus 2020, the game is more elevated. So yeah, I didn't have nobody schooling me, checking. Like, I know this girl writes her own lyrics. I don't see her publishing. I don't see any writer credit. Who gives a person, so yeah. Keep doing what you're doing. And today's game, it's so much easier to go independent.
Yeah.
See, we did not have these tools. We didn't have live streams. We didn't have Instagram, because I messaged a couple of people and got a response. Back then, when I was hot, I probably would have been I probably would have elevated. But I'm here in Los Angeles, home of the cutthroat, and it happens everywhere. So you must be aware. People that you think got your back, they don't got your back. People get paid on the side. It's corporate. It's white, it's black, it's America. It happens.
Yeah.
Babe,
Yeah,
you've been quiet.
I mean, it's easy for songs, I guess, to just fall through the cracks, and next thing you know, somebody else is claiming you're publishing, and then now it's an uphill battle to, what I mean?
You know what I find, and I guess maybe because I'm not a writer per se, I can write, but I'm not a writer like any of you. I do my contributions. However, and maybe you guys tell me, the two young ladies especially, like I have, for my publishing admin clients, I give them split sheets, right? Their information, how I need all the information, and like how you said, like, you're in the studio vibing and all of that. And it's so much easier to determine splits before the excitement of the record goes through. People, oh, this is gonna be a single, or the actual release of a record. And the splits are not determined. And then that's when the funny stuff starts. I always tell my clients, like, look, and the ones that are, and I have some that are just feel uncomfortable and I just don't get it. And I guess my personality is so forward in business that I just don't understand that you're writing, this is what it is. So I tell them, take the split sheets with you. And after you've finished, right? And you can blame it on me. Oh my God, we got to fill this out. My publishing administrator will kill me if I don't get all this information, and let's work it out now. You usually have, and especially if, everybody is there, the producer is there, it's you and a co-writer or whatever, or if it's just you. And if it's just you and the producer, it should be pretty easy, 50-50. But if you have other co-writers, you've got a contributing producers, it's so much easier, you guys, to get it done then and there, because on mine, they have signature sheets and whatever. And do you know how many times that I've had to actually use, and my clients are like clockwork. They know better. They know not come with me with a split sheet talking about, I did this song 6 months ago. Are you crazy? And because I do that with my clients, so many of them, I have had the luxury of being able to stop the bullshit and the wanting to take more of it and try to hold a record hostage by doing so with those simple split sheets. So let me ask the young girls, and I know with, like someone like us that's gone through it already, do you guys feel uncomfortable asking for split sheets when you're in the studio? I mean, asking to work off split sheets in the studio after you recorded the record?
Yeah, babe, I think you're muted.
Oh.
Can't hear you.
Okay. Go ahead.
Anybody?
It said I was muted by the host.
Shouts out to Soul Trust, my administrator.
I will say this. I'm glad that you brought this up, Jamila, and I'm so glad you brought this up, because I used to feel very uncomfortable. What you're saying is true. When I was younger, and I'll say more immature is as a creative. And when I say immature, it's not a negative thing, just younger.
Yeah, you just didn't know, inexperienced.
Didn't know. I used to feel like, I remember working with older people, and if I brought up the split sheet thing, they would make me feel like, oh, you ruined the vibe. We vibing right now. But I learned that was a way to kind of manipulate me.
Absolutely.
Because I was taught, you know, thank God I had some really good mentors when I was really young that I learned some stuff from. But when I tried to communicate that in certain sessions with people older than me or male dominated with that A-type energy, it was like, oh, you ruining the vibe. But we just vibing. We gonna do this later. Then I'm not gonna lie, and I don't want to dwell on negativity. But there have been songs that I heard when I was a teenager that came on the radio that was my lyrics, my melody, and my ad-libs. Even songs where they would call me in and say, we just need you to demo. But when I get in, I'm actually writing and creating melody. And I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't a demo. You actually got me writing and doing melodies. But then the artist will redo everything I do, and I hear it on the radio. And I'm like, the same thing. I'm trying to do split sheets 6 months, a year later. And it's like, nobody would help me. But that was when I was younger and more immature in my creative mind, in my business, being a businesswoman. What I have adopted and what I tell people, listen, if your intentions are good and you have no ill intention, you don't have a problem doing paperwork.
Right.
If you know
That's
that
the
we want to
business.
make money together as a team, then a split sheet shouldn't make you shake. A split sheet shouldn't make you nervous. You shouldn't get all weird if I bring up a split sheet. You should be like, hell yeah, let's do this split sheet. Matter of fact, I can't wait to do the next song. Like, let's keep building and be a team. And I got some people that I work so well with. We don't even nitpick. You did this line, oh, you did the hook, you did the pre. We so like on the same.
You just break it down, like you did a third and a
we split it. If it's 3 people, we split it 3 ways. If it's 2, because I'm at the point in my life, I'm not gonna write. I don't care how famous you are, how many accolades, how much clout you got. If the energy ain't right, then I'm just gonna pass. Honestly, like I don't wanna. I'm not driven by chasing a bag. Like I know God in the universe is gonna bless me with what's for me anyway. So if it's from God, if it's from the universe, if it's a positive opportunity, it's not gonna come with negative energy and negative vibes or people, making me feel weird that I actually want to handle my business.
And that's what I tell my clients. If they're making you feel uncomfortable about handling the business of your intellectual property that you contributed to, then they're full of shit anyways. And I'd rather know now than later. So let me ask you, Janelle, because you seem to, Janelle, is that your name, sweetheart?
Jamila.
Jamila, my bad. I can't see at all. Like it's so small. That's like Jamila, because you have been in published works and you've worked with, different artists and kind of like you have a publishing deal and stuff like that. For you, how is it for you? Asking that same question.
Well, okay. So, I don't have a publishing deal. I have certain songs that are being represented.
That are under, okay, I got you.
Yeah,
but you're working with companies, you're.
So, like when, like if a sync license song gets placed or whatever, they want to know, is it one stop? They need to know if it's cleared. And if it's not, then you definitely can get blacklisted because they're never going to work with you again.
So that makes you make sure you have all your stuff together. Because of it.
You have to, because if it comes back, matter of fact, that actually happened with my first. I did get a song placed in a movie, and that kind of happened not with my song, but with another artist. You know how like a lot of online producers now, like they'll say, "Oh yeah, the license is free and clear." But really it's not. Like it's free and clear for X, Y, and Z, and then if it gets picked up, then it's
not a
whatever.
And then really quick before this end, I just want to show you how what looks so negative really turned out positive. Because back when I did the Snoop Dogg records, they weren't giving me writers the proper share. to You Got Beef with DPG and all these hit records that I appeared on, which I wrote for myself. Well, it didn't pay off then, but now that it finally was proven that I never signed my publishing to anybody, and I begged ASCAP for years. It's a book, it's a movie, but now we have a publishing administrator, a company called Song Trust. Song Trust got me more money in 2019 that I ever made from 98, 99. So in 20 years, now I got the right to give licensing to TikTok. I have all these, music reports, things that I never had any connection to, maybe waiting them 20 years and not getting paid for me because I'm older. I started at 14. I was signed to Ruthless at 23. I did Romeo and Juliet at 26. So I'm a grandmother. Blessed. I'm a grandmother. I have a 5-year-old. So yeah, definitely old school, definitely laced with the game, but I had to go learn it. So check out Sound Exchange, check out Song Trust, check out like music reports. I'm looking like I'm getting paid money that nobody that I thought represented or knew that I was the freestyler, nobody really guided me. So it's never too late. I'm proud of Lorraine lyrics today. And then a quick thing, ASCAP, it bothered me. They invited me to New York in 1999. I received the Writer of the Year award. So of course, when your record first dropped, it typically takes 6 months to a year for everything to calculate. So when I received, You Girls Were Babies, 1999, Writer of the Year. You think I didn't cry, question? Like, I don't want to get a lawyer and sue this guy because that's
You
tax.
should have.
I know. But then when I went
been 20 years with no money.
Right, I could have sued and been shrewd, but it paid off later. So that
you were scared. You didn't want to go against that street nigga. Let's be clear.
Yeah, that was my conception. I was 25.
Let's be clear. Let's not confuse the people. Okay, this is a real street nigga. It's what it was, and you could have got a lawyer, and it would have been smashed, and you did, and so it hurt you.
I'll be dead.
Yeah.
But
so then now you have it, and then now you've got all of your stuff registered, and it's coming into you.
Thank you, young lady. What I was explaining is that, it's a lot of crooks, and you couldn't tell me that ASCAP could print up. I am the Writer of the Year. And when I'm telling you, my shares are not right. These people don't have a contract with me. It kept getting overlooked. But we're looking at 22 years ago. So now,
Sylk, it doesn't work like that. You have to actually do a lawsuit.
Well,
you can't just tell somebody anything. That can mean everybody else can be like, oh, Michael Jackson is my shit. No, you have to actually do a claim in a lawsuit.
This is now. So the good thing is that my book, my films, my writings, they're all at where they belong. So now my projects are even better than what they were. Because I don't, I'm not into rap. I succeeded as a rapper. Everybody know me as a rapper. So now I get to shine as a writer. And thank you, Song Trust, because that was an administrator that stepped in and got it straight. So don't give up. Don't let people discourage you. And like Charis said, always, you'll see the Romeo and Juliet story. It's going to be full of knowledge, full of truth. And like Charis said, I was dealing with a notorious. So I basically say I survived a hit. I survived a hit record. I survived niggas trying to take me out on these cold streets of LA. You know, they survived R. Kelly, but Sylky Fyne survived that hit. And I'm still here. Thank you, Lord.
Hey, Shari and Sylk, do either one of you guys got a Tupac story?
Oh, we got
Why?
Shari hooked me up with Tupac. That was my go-to.
Shari, give us a story.
Gosh.
I met Tupac before I even made my first record. Me and my homegirl Diamond, shouts out to Ice Girl. So I used to date Tupac's friend, Mouse Man. They called him Mouse Man and the Wicked. So I was around the way, girl. I used to take Pac weed, fried chicken. I never told him I rapped. So Mouse Man found out that I rapped. Me and Diamond would go to the hotel at I'm too old, I can't remember. But we would go to the Mondrians and the Meridians and all these places. And we bring them food and weed. And one thing I remember, even though we weren't, Tupac gave me and Diamond, y'all ain't nothing but some wino hoes from hell. And it sounds crazy, but when he see us, he loved us like sisters. Like, them motherfuckers is crazy. Them the wino hoes from hell. And we were all 19. We thought that shit was so funny. So I'm going to come back to you, Kev. We're going to get the Sylk interview, not the night that my car got smashed up, because my voice is totally over raspy. I've been talking to insurance companies, the car lots. You know, I just had the whole suit on today.
Where's Diamond at, Sylk?
We gonna get her on your show.
Okay.
She's close. I talked to her earlier.
Okay.
We're gonna get it. We gonna get it cracking. And I love you, Jamila. And babe, I'm your auntie. I'm Auntie Sylky Fyne. I'm gonna look you girls up. I'm gonna follow you. If you ever need motivation, I don't care. I don't care. Somebody piss you off, call me. We gonna laugh.
Sounds good.
First of all, I'm sorry, y'all. This is funny, but the wine hoes from hell, is that what you said?
The wino. The wino.
Oh, wino hoes from, that would be an ultimate metal rock band name. I'm sorry, that was just funny to me.
You can use it, baby.
Like, I've learned
you can use it. I will not steal the credit.
I've learned so much from y'all.
I can't hear you, babe, at all. That's crazy. I can't hear you, and I can't.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Well, I'm just saying that I learned a lot from y'all. Thank you so much for having me here, Jamila. If you could let Jamila know, because we're in the same city, I really want us to connect and build, you know, and stay in contact. We both live in Atlanta, and I want to stay in contact with both of you women, both of you queens. Like, I really feel like I can learn a lot from you, and I hope this relationship goes beyond this podcast right now, you know.
Yes.
I'm available to you guys and you ladies if you need anything, a checker, a conversation, any of that. So I will look you guys up on Instagram and follow you as well.
Yes, I'm gonna follow all of y'all. Like, after this is over, I'm gonna follow and DM you so we can really actively stay in contact, because this was really positive. And I just appreciate this opportunity, you know, to build with y'all, connect and learn. I've learned a lot, actually. So.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Good.
And you guys can come out here and visit after the corona. You'll have some
half
big
of my family's
sisters.
there. I actually want to move there. My dad's side of the family lives there. I go out there a lot. I got cousins out there, and LA is like my second home. So
good.
I can't wait for this corona to be over, because I'm definitely coming out there and I'm gonna hit you up.
Please do.
Sorry, they act like they trying to get out of here, but I can't let you go until I get a Tupac story out of you.
Oh gosh, which one? You know what? I had one, and then Sylk. What she initially said, it wasn't about the wine. What was it? What else was it that I was going to say? Oh yeah, I want to tell that story. Oh God, it's so many.
So many.
Let's see.
You guys.
God, it was literally on the tip of my tongue, and then she started talking, and then went into something else. And as soon as she said it, I was like, "Oh, I'm going to tell that story because that's funny." It's so many. Pac was like a Pac was like a brother to me.
I was gonna say
Pac was like a brother. Huh? I'm sorry.
I said after your Tupac question, I have a very serious question for both of you.
Okay.
Oh, well, let me think of the story because there's just so many stories because Tupac was literally like a brother to me. I was like a mentor to him in this business, and a lot of funny stuff, a lot of serious stuff. But ask me the question and I'll come back to it because
was always a go hard.
I totally slipped my mind.
Oh damn! Your sound went out, Shari.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what it is? You know what happens, you guys?
It's back.
This fucking thing. I get phone calls, and that's when the sound goes away.
Yeah.
Right.
As soon as I'm gonna come back in.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm gonna try to come out and come in too, because I literally am like, I can't hear most people.
And we hear you too. So okay.
Now my volume is knocked out.
Oh, you guys in the market.
Y'all know I'm crazy.
There you go.
Sweating.
Okay. I think that's what happens, you guys. If you get phone calls,
It knocks us out.
it knocks the sound out. It like, cause I've been declining calls. Next time I'm gonna put on do not disturb, but I've been declining calls. And as soon as I decline the call, the sound goes out. So maybe that's what it is, Jamila.
It did me
But
too.
People call you
where's
for
Jamila?
that game, huh?
I'm sorry?
They're calling you to get that game from the music.
Some are calling to give me some money. Somebody may be calling me to give me some money.
That's right.
Oh, there she is. Hey, Jamila.
Hey.
Can you hear Kev now that you came back in?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, good.
You know what it is, Jamila? When you get calls, because that's what had happened to me. When you get a call, I think, and it decline, just a call coming in knocks the sound out. Because that's when I just got a call, it knocked it out. So that's
And then I put it on speakerphone. It sounds great.
And so, babe,
Yeah,
what was the question that you had? What was the question you had?
Yes. I just want to know, because listening to your history and who all you worked with, and I know that was a whole different era. I know the energy in the music industry was different. And what you guys experienced is completely different than what me and Jamila is experiencing, because we do have social media, just the internet, period, all the different platforms to reach your people. This is something that I kind of, I'm not going to say I struggle with, because the rocker in me don't really give a fuck. But the other side of me battles with this. Like, I see, since this is about hip hop, like I see so many girls like in me and Jamila's age group now that are coming out, breaking out, and they feel like, even artists I've worked with that I've tried to ghostwrite with, they just feel this pressure of, I'm just gonna be real, we all grown, just selling ass. You know what I'm saying? Selling ass, selling pussy. And I understand hip hop is about talking shit. You're like pumping yourself up. It's the ego. But
Right.
Whatever happened to like how I love what you said when you first started. You said y'all are beautiful, but I want people to know it's not just about beauty with y'all. Like, it's beyond the beauty. And I'm just trying, I struggle sometimes, even with social media. It's like, I got a body. I'm a double D. Naturally, I've been curvy my whole life. My auntie was curvy, my mama, my grandma. I grew up, my cousins, they all thick. We eat cornbread, greens, cabbage. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but it's like, some people are like, oh, you need to use what you got, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I'm more than that. Like, I have a brain. I consider myself a nerd, like, I am a music geek. I'm not just a lover of music. I love classical. I love the Baroque period. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can go on a date and go turn up at the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra and then go to the Blue Flame Lounge in the same day, and I'm happy as fuck. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, where does the line draw? Because back then, women they did have a sense of sexuality, and you know, they had the body, and you saw the glam and the feminism. But now it's like, it seems like that's all it is, and it's kind of a sad place to me that people feel like, women feel like they gotta do that. Like, is this where hip hop has become? Like, is this, from your opinion, being veterans and being OGs and seeing the transformation from when you was, you know, younger in this industry to now, like, what do you really think about that? Like, are we at the point where it's just sex sells in hip hop? If you ain't talking about how good your pussy is and how big your ass is, then you're not gonna, because why can't we talk about other shit? You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know what, I think things happen in waves, and I think right about now is a good.
And I'm not being judgmental. I'm not coming from a place of judgment.
And you're right, and that speaks volumes for not only just the female and the male, but the male rappers too. I mean, I come from, you know, kind of a street, political, anti-police, you know what I mean? In WA, literally, even though they had a street perspective, they didn't glorify certain things. They literally were like, you know, anti-police, anti-establishment, anti what's going on, and like reporting from the hood and what's what. But like what's going on, I just think things are like at a, you know, like how Nicki had her run, or like, you know, Cardi comes out, she's a stripper, and like the whole little stripper run. But I think that stuff is about to end. Life and things are different now. Even just watching things about flipping money and doing all of that is going to seem real corny at this point. You understand where we're in life is, and music is a journey. And I think that if you're a real rapper, a real songwriter, you know, especially someone like yourself, that you're gonna stay true to yourself. It seems like you two ladies were gonna stay true to yourself regardless. You don't have to worry about the things that maybe some girls that are not as pretty has to do with, and you don't have to you know, exploit yourself at the same time, and just really be true to yourself and your craft, because I think it's all going to come, like they said, you know, R&B is coming back, or true hip hop, or this or that, because people are really tired. And I think hip hop has always been a translation of what's going on and then around at the times. So where we're at with the pandemic, the seriousness, the economy, just the issues that people are talking about now, and you're a true artist, you know, from your rap to your rock and the things that you say, and you guys have some substance within you. It's not about, you know, this or that, or just following the bandwagon, because the bandwagon folks, they're not gonna last. You know what I mean? Like, will Megan continue after this? You know what I'm saying? Will she continue to stay on top, or will she have to evolve herself? Will Diamond White, the girl from Houston that has a body like Megan, that's actually a doctor that got bars for days, that's not talking about selling pussy, is it about to be her time now? So I say stay true to yourself. You both have sex appeal. You're both absolutely gorgeous. So you don't even have to try to attempt that. And I say, you know, just like Kendrick, you know, different people. I mean, Kendrick is huge as he wants to be. He stays true to his craft and what it is. There's no gimmick about him. There's no extraness about him. And he's globally multi-platinum. So the same thing for you guys. I think women, us as women, want that. We're tired of seeing the blow up body talking about come lick me and I'm gonna take your man and no money and, you know, hot girl summer and all of that. And I love hip hop. I love Cardi. I love street hip hop. Don't get me wrong. And I think, like you said, you guys listen to trap. There's a time and a place for everything, but just stay true to yourself, because there is so many people. And the difference is you have access even though the distribution channel and how to get it out there might be a little complicated from those that don't really know how to utilize social media or organic for people to come to you, it literally is changing, and you have a great opportunity to expose yourself to way more people than it was in the past, when you might not have the budgets and the marketing and the, the amount of labels and distributors that used to be, there. They were, tons, 3,300 labels, 8,600 labels and production companies back in the day. So I just say, stay true to yourself. You're both absolutely gorgeous. So it's not like, that's an issue that you were born that way. So it's going to attract that. If you got a nice body, even if you don't, show it with a, hang your titties out, whatever, we still see that you got double D's in a nice shirt. You know what I mean? Just still do what you do. That's it. Don't conform, because if you try to, it's not going to last.
Now, what I would like to say is being a rap artist as well as a writer, because, I was young, I was a rapper. It never got to me like that. Like, people wanted me to wear a lot of provocative things, and I kind of was like, this is not who I am, and that's not who I'm gonna be. So even though I just did 2-3 music videos, I had a classy, sexy look, but to me, real raw talent, it never dies. There's no age limit on real talent. To me, Betty Wright, Aretha Franklin, Betty Wright, rest in peace. Aretha Franklin, if she want to drop an album every 20 years, she can do that. Yes, these days it's twerk, twerk, twerk. I'm glad I'm not in this generation, but the competition is a lot more heavy. But then when you look at my sister Lizzo, and back when I was in the game, you look at Missy Elliott, it's all about your talent. And when you're not a gimmick, you last forever. Even though I'm not on the charts and I'm popping in the industry, I'm popping in real life. Because the people that know me in real life, they really love me, or else they really hate me because they ain't me. You know what I mean? So originality, looking good for you. Because I did a song, shouts out to Wayne D. I'm always taking my girls in the studio, no matter what. I think I'm one of the only females on the West Coast that actually rapped with every underground artist that ever rapped. So I took my girl in the studio. Too bad I'm hoarse, but what I look like trying to be with somebody that don't even cherish my body, I'm better off doing Pilates, getting money. Like my energy, I could be 100 years old or I could be 15. You're not gonna know vocally. I went through trauma last night. That's why my voice, I didn't get no sleep. The car almost came through my bedroom window. So yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but God is so good that I'm covered. So that's why when you don't go sue people and you don't set out for revenge over material, you end up getting abundance. I'd rather have a rich spirit than a broken heart. And I had to learn not to let things break my heart, because if I die with a $20,000 Rolex, $50,000, it's going to be a battle. But if I live and I share and I give, so even though it looked like Michael Conception took all the money, God bless that man. Because one thing for sure, your spirit is what carry you. And at night, I sleep like this. And I've never been underweight. I'm healthy. I eat good.
Okay, Sylk. Look.
Do you.
Sylk, I caught them bars you dropped, and the key takeaway, babe, is that she said talent. So it's talent that will last forever. And to Sherry, there was a few things you said. One about showing the titties and ass. I got 2 daughters, 26-year-old and 27-year-old. And I I tell them exactly what you were saying. You know, they ain't got to show it. They ain't got to flaunt it. Be respectful to yourself. And if you got to use that to get a man or get attention, then something's wrong, you know. And ironically, you come off as so smart, so educated, and you know your field real well. That's what men like. Men like a woman is confident and got knowledge and can teach him some things. You know, because I know women like conversation with a man, and a lot of men like myself don't have no conversation for a woman. I don't like to conversate, but if it's something interesting and something you can teach me, I'm all ears. You know what I'm saying? Then you get that conversation you're looking for out of a man. So you don't have to always show cleavage and show your titties and you know, and do all that. I definitely don't want my daughter doing it. And they don't.
I've never gotten a man dressing provocatively. It's always been, you know, maybe a smile or my conversation. So
it definitely gets our attention, but I mean it's not going to usually
It's not a white feet. It ain't no white.
And Sylk, you know, you talk all that shit, but you had bars. You had
Right.
talent. You had
Thank
talent.
you.
bars.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's what it
Thank
was.
you.
That's what it was, and that's why you could be
It
yourself.
was intimidation. I know I'm very outspoken. I know.
But what
No, you are a real MC, Sylk. Like there's rappers and then there's MCs. You are
Thank
a
you,
real
sis.
MC. She doesn't have to be prepared. She like there's a mic, she's grabbing it. I don't care which beat, it's go for her.
Shari
That's
is
what
the
I've always
reason.
loved and admired about you.
Shari has always been my mentor. She's always been my little big sister, big little sister. And it's like our
But not
relation.
through that my conception thing. She didn't come to me, so don't. She didn't come to me
No,
during that
she
time.
had
She was
nothing to do with
gone.
that.
So let's
She
not
didn't-
get it confused.
No, nobody thinks you were with him or nothing.
Yeah, because if you had came to me, I would have put the claim on it. Like
she was, you know.
Now you know it's about to be some shit, though, right?
She was dealing with who she was dealing with, and I thought Madeline Smith, you know. But that's. Cause see,
No, I just
I'm
wanted
happy.
to clear that up because I would have never had you out there like that.
I don't know who worked with the man, but God bless him, and I'm happy.
And Mike, shout out to Mike. That's my boy, though. We mad cool. Mike is my
that's
homie.
what I said. Shout out, because God knows the truth, and the only person mad and bitter is the rich motherfucker. But like I said, it's all love. I am a survivor. I am the bigger person because I didn't go attack that person like I could have. My spirit overwon all that. If I die tonight, I'm going to heaven, whether you like it or not. That's where I'm going.
I got a question for all you ladies. I actually got two questions, but one, all you guys mentioned you write. I know Miss Henry said she doesn't write like you three do, but who are you guys writing for?
Well, I write for just different artists and producers that come and want to collaborate. Like some producers, they have a certain song that they want to pitch maybe to like different artists or whatever. So I'll just collaborate and write like that. And then some producers come and they're like, hey, they want me actually on the record. And
are these men?
With a lot of different people.
Are these men or women you writing for?
Both.
How about you, babe?
Yeah, I'm actually writing for a combination of, I have some ghostwriting projects for some major artists, and the reason I can't say who they are is because when you're a ghostwriter, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
But on the other side, I'm very excited to be working right now. I'm writing for Lil Jon. He's getting placed. He produces for a lot of people even now. And he's an amazing producer, and I'm writing for him. I'm also writing for.
Wait, hold on. Is that Lil Jon the drummer?
No, Lil Jon, like, yeah, what's up?
Oh, word. Okay, great.
Like, the king of crunk.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. He just released a song with Usher and Luda called Sex Beat.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's that's Lil Jon's. I heard that one. Yeah.
Lil Jon just did that beat, and he's actually getting ready to be doing some stuff for a lot of different artists. Some of them I'm writing for with my name, and others I'm a ghostwrite for, so I can't say. But another producer, he's amazing. He's a very well-respected engineer. He lives out in LA. His name's John Marie. He did Michael Jackson stuff. He produced Dangerous for Michael Jackson. He engineered a lot of Michael Jackson stuff, and he also did the Power Glide song that was recently out. Power Glide. Anyway, and a couple of independent producers, male and female, like indie producers that come to me, we collab, and they're putting stuff out. And yeah. And
I've written for everybody and with everybody. I didn't get credit. I've written for Easy. I'm on every Easy, Dr. Dre record, Chronic 2001. I've written lyrics, changed lyrics, but I've actually, gotten, I wrote a lot of songs. I didn't take any of the writing, but for some of the music that I supervised and had to place for the movie. What is the damn movie that I just did? Not just did, a few years ago with Amber Rose and what's the name of that? Sister Code. Yeah, Sister Code. And Funimation projects, and I write on everybody's stuff. and only when I'm not trying to get in there, it's like when there's a need. Like, no, this is horrible.
No, and like you, I've written some stuff before where in the past when I didn't do my split sheets in publishing, right, that I just didn't get credit for, but I don't want to bring their name up because I don't want to bring up, negative situations. But in the past, I did have some stuff that I should have got placement credit for, but I didn't. And it was a learning experience. I'm not bitter at all. Like, I don't believe in getting bitter. I feel like instead of getting bitter, just be better. Learn from your shit and just be,
Where'd Jamila go? Because I wanted to tell you two young ladies something too, as also just a little piece of game and advice.
I think she got a phone call and it messed up her signal. She said she'd be right back.
Oh, okay. Where's mine? I keep going.
I have until Jamila comes back, I have a question for you because you are an executive, and again, with your history, you've seen things change through the years.
I think she froze, babe.
Oh, here we go. Yeah,
right,
I'm sorry. I'm listening. I can hear you, babe.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay, so, and this is my last question. I'm sorry if I asked too many questions, but it's
that's what I'm here for. Of course.
This opportunity is so golden, and I'm learning a lot from both of y'all. And what I want to know is what I kind of deal with as an independent artist is. Okay, Jamila is back. Okay, cool.
I can hear you now.
So, Jamila, tell me if you ever experienced this or not. I'm just telling them, I have a question, but I'm also kind of just telling them what I experienced as an indie artist. So, like, I'm very live show driven. Before I started really, recording, I've always been in the live scene. I've been singing with live bands since I was in the 8th grade. And that's where my heart is, like, on stage, crushing it live and being able to connect with the people, real people jumping up on stage, touching their hand. Like, I've had people cry. One time I had the sound man, he was doing my sound and he was crying from the lyrics in my song. And that's the kind of stuff I live for, But then lately, I'll walk in a meeting and instead of an executive saying, when is your next show? Let me hear you sing live. It's how many followers you got? How many likes you got? And I'm going to just be honest, like, it's kind of, not to be negative, it's depressing sometimes because I have been on tour. I toured 6 years hardcore, doing 200 cities a year, dancing and rehearsing till my feet bled. You know what I'm saying? Like, I take performing and practicing and the preparation with my band and the choreography and all that. I eat, live, and sleep for that. And it's like to walk in the meeting and they don't even give a damn about. I'll be like, hey, what are you doing on this day? You want to come to my live show? It's like, no, how many followers you got? And it's like, I understand that is where we are now, and that's a part of the hustle. And if people don't see you with a bunch of followers and likes and streams, then that means you're not working. But it's like, that's not fair to people that really are working. Like, I spent my life rehearsing. I did dance, piano. I studied music. It's like, I didn't do all that touring and all those rehearsals to be like this every 5 minutes. But it's like people
Well,
that are like this,
well, let me interject in here because I know where you're going with this. You're absolutely right. The whole aspect of meetings and A&Ring that in actually really picking talent for what it is, or seeing a future in somebody is gone. First of all, a lot of A&Rs, they're not really music professionals. They used to be producers actually back in the day. And then there are at least people like myself that actually has, a keen understanding of music and has a great ear and understanding all of the elements. And, I think I have an absolutely great ear. I'm not a producer, I'm not a musician, but I know how to get it done. But the bottom line is that's where we're at. We're at a digital realm where maybe live shows might not be the same as they used to be anymore. So that's something that you might have to consider and do. I think they're purposely wanting us to be in this medium kind of space. And unfortunately, like I have a client named Graves, fire as MC. He is not a big social media person. We fight about this like all the time. They asked him to be a part of the Rhythm and Flow the first season, but the contracts was looking crazy. I had no idea that it was going to end up being a $250,000 independent thing, because we would have rolled on it, but he's going to go for the second season. They called him back. That's how dope he is. Like, he doesn't have to audition. They want him. However, his followers, like my page is private and I have more followers than him. What's the issue? You're gorgeous, you're flying, whatever. That is something that you're going to have to, because not only is music, so you got performances that might be not the same anymore monetarily for a lot of artists, and even big artists that answer that, if this is where we're going and it's not going to possibly be the same. Or even if it is, a lot of people might not want to go any longer based upon these things, that they don't get this type of virus and stuff out of control. So yes, all of these people, and it's been like this for a while. How many followers? What's this? Whatever. Because the record companies do not want to spend any money. They do not want to risk building an artist. They want to have someone, and it's not just with music. I actually was a president of this company called I Discover Stars. It's on Facebook, and it's a social platform. And I was their president from like 14 to 17, and I helped build that platform to like 3 million followers. And what it does is showcase talent, artists, producers, singers, rappers, dancers, fine art and stuff. And at the time, we had a global reach of 180 countries, excuse me. And it is models, for instance, like Wilhelmina, LA Models, all of those major modeling agencies. Before it was like, are you bad? Are you the new Kate Moss or the new Naomi or whatever? Even with modeling, they want the models that have followers already. So that, and before it was like, oh, the model make the little designer or the clothes or the ad. No, it's not just with you guys. It is with anything that they're like models and singers and actors and, even people that have other type of influencers or designers or things like that. They want to see if they could cheat it a little bit. Just like how Kevin Hart had that beef with Sony a couple of years ago about his Instagram, because they wanted him to promote his movie on Sony through his Instagram. And he was like, y'all gotta pay me. I got a couple of million followers at that time, and y'all gotta pay me, because you pay all of these other advertisers and stuff like that. And there was like a big beef. Like he felt that, that they should just do it anyway. So these companies you guys build the following, and they want to take advantage of that. And they don't want to build and make you. So if you're not one, and I think, babe, I think you have a decent following or whatever, but I know sometimes you're like, well, damn, it should be bigger. It should be that. I'm going to tell you guys, I haven't looked at either of your pages. I think, babe, I saw a few little things. I love, the colors or whatever. I didn't really study. I just kind of, quickly went through your page just to see who I was going to be on the panel with. I didn't get a chance to check yours out, Jamila, but you're different in itself. Your visual difference is like whatever. I don't know if you do viral stuff, meaning like it's not all just like videos and stuff. And like with you, like if your performance is dope, you're going to have to start considering how to encompass live performances, even if they're in front of people or not, with your social presence, because we don't know when we're going to go back to how you've been used to gigging and building yourself. So that's something that you're going to have to think about. And even now through this quarantine, people are being real creative in regards to how to brand and market themselves, because you're both gorgeous girls, you're both talented. I mean, obviously, and it's just unfortunate. It's not just your industry. It's numbers. It's all about numbers. It's all about data. It's all about the more data, the more that you can sell. And that's just
nowadays,
the bottom line, basically.
Yeah.
And nowadays,
Yeah, I
you
felt the
can
same
buy
way as you, though.
views.
I mean, I still do about social.
And I would get, you know what,
views.
and if you're not the person that likes to do that, and even if you know, to invest in yourself, you know, maybe you get somebody that'll help you and like help, you know, help to build. And I'm not talking about bots and non-genuine followers, but there are things like, do you guys really, I mean, you need to build as you're building, as you're showcasing, you still need to build. And I tell people that, like people that are not real, you know, especially the guys, that they're not real social media, you know, whatever. I said, look, this is like a job, like 3 days, you know, times a morning, noon, and night. And then there's aspects of when I tell them to hashtag, use the shit appropriately. You're not Prince. You need to hashtag. You're not Beyonce. Hashtag.
And a lot of
Bring that stuff in. Follow your people. Quit acting like following somebody and the ratio is going to be whatever. That's corny as hell, especially if you're trying to build. You got fans and followers that love you. They're always reposting your stuff. They're always follow them. Follow them back. Go like a couple of pages on it and do it as a whatever. And I told him, I said, this is how you and some of the people that are not talented at all, they really understand this social media and how to actually work it. You know what I mean? I saw that with Twitter. I saw that with artists on Instagram and Facebook and whatever. And you really, and then some people just, you know, they just, sometimes it just even takes one post. Like the young girls that you saw, I don't know if you saw them, they did the James Brown tribute, the dancers girls from Yara, Nora, and Rosa. Did you guys see that? They did the James Brown thing. Anyways, fire. You'll see it on my page once you fire me. Fire. I think that day, I think I posted them on my Facebook. I think my thing went viral because I think I have 100 and something thousand shares on my Facebook. Mine went viral over their page because I didn't know they had a Facebook. I saw it on Instagram. I posted it that morning. And then, but I told them to, you know, I told the people that I posted on my Facebook, and I did it to the world, to follow their Instagram. You know what I mean? So I watched their, and it wasn't just me, but I know from the 8 o'clock and whatever, I watched their Instagram in one day go from 30 something thousand to like, I know they're over 100 and some thousand now. And it's only been like about a week. It takes sometimes it just takes one video for other people to share and to do. But yes, unfortunately, you can't just be in your box and be that artist and do the whatever. And especially since, you know, you are independent, you guys have to encompass all of that in it. And like I said, those things really matter. When you post, the times you post, you know, everybody's in the morning, you know, morning posts are great. Later on in the evening posts are great when people are there. Now, obviously this is a great time right now because you got a lot of eyes and people that are just watching social media because of the quarantine. But unfortunately, it's gonna stay like that because the people that run this are not about the culture and really about the craft. They're about the money and exploiting the craft.
Yeah.
So,
Sylk, they say, sorry.
Right.
Sylk, they say you're really trying to get your word in. Let's hear it, Sylk.
Thank you. Really short and sweet. I watched 4 of my friends. They actually took their debit card. And of course, they're fake followers, but it looks good. So unless you go on each and every person's page, of course, if you see 5,000 likes versus 24, but don't get caught up with social media. It's all fake. Like, do your real life, because people are buying views to stay with the social media. That's all fake. Like Beyonce, of course, Jigga, all the greats, they have real followers. But
No, they
there's
don't.
so
No, they
many.
don't. No, they don't. All those ones that have 100, Rihanna, Drake, all of them, Kim Kardashian, they have a lot of those are bots too as well. They are not.
Oh,
Those are not
okay, because all I
108.
was saying,
Hell no. No,
all
because I
I
have
was
a friend that
saying,
has a media company, and they actually have a way of showing like which percentages. And I remember at the time, this was like maybe like 7 years ago, he was showing me, and he did it to like Drake's page. And at the time, I think Drake had like 7 or 8 million followers, but his real number was like 800,000. Swear to God. So, and he said all of them, especially the big ones, those are not accurate. They're not all real. Because you can tell from the ratio as well. You know what I mean? Even with Kim at 130 something thousand or whatever, she'll consistently get like about 1 million or so, whatever. But those are not real. No, absolutely not. Mm-mm.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's all about the perception.
What about you, Jamila? How do you feel like where we are with social media and stuff, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely bothered me in the beginning because I was just one of those people that's like, whatever, like I'm dope. It doesn't matter. Either you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I'm good, I'm talented. I shouldn't have to go out of my way to do this, and this to get you to work with me. Because I came from an acting background too. I've been acting for a long time. And I'm just used to doing auditions and booking roles based on my talent and ability. There is nothing else until my acting agent, a few years back implemented this new thing where she was like, yeah, if you have 10K followers or more, I'll put you in a different category and I'll actually pitch you to different films.
Wow.
So it even started, I realized when it started affecting that and like crossing over, because acting is pretty much cut and dry. Now it's not. Now it's like
acting,
it's
modeling,
being affected. Yeah, like you were saying. So it's like bled into every lane pretty much of anything now at this point. So
yeah.
I mean, at this point, I've accepted it. I definitely need to do better because I've always been one of those people that I don't know. I guess the in theory, I'm just like, hey, if you don't have my number, we're not cool anyways. But I had to reprogram my mind as an entrepreneur and as a business
person. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And now
and understand that that's the integral part of your business. Is that
Right.
social media part is an integral part of your business, just as well as your registrations, your creative aspect. You know what I mean? All of that stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, let me
And
say
I
this
respect it
since
now, and I don't have a problem with it. Like, it doesn't bother me. I know that I have to seriously implement that aspect of my business. And I am going to. I'm not gonna lie, I have been, a little lazy about that. But I mean, I respect it. I mean, I don't have no problem with it no more. I'm not really, I don't feel bad about it. Hey, it's just a part of the business, branding, social proofing. Also, I feel like because it's so much more competitive now because of the digital era and because there's so many artists out now, like artists can put themselves out without a label. So I feel like that just kind of flooded the market and made it super competitive to the point where a label or a publisher really doesn't want to invest in you unless you can prove that you can rise above the rest of the noise, even just if it's just a little bit. They just want to make sure, okay, with all these other artists that have fan bases, even if they're not that good, we'd rather go with them because maybe we can make a return versus, it's funny. I was just listening to this rapper that I literally found because he promoted his song on a blog, and I went to his YouTube channel and I was like, oh, I like his music or whatever. And he literally only has 74 subscribers on YouTube. And I was like, dang, he's dope. Why? And even I caught myself. I was like, he's dope. Why does he only have like 10 views here or, 5 likes there? And I caught myself and I was like, oh, snap. Even I'm doing it. You feel me? So I can definitely imagine an A&R or a manager. It's like this, oh, well, if you're really good, then other people would like you too. You know what I'm saying? It's just like this, like, perception, you know what I'm saying?
And you know what? Just like how you said that, there's so many people that are not into it, and like nobody's gonna just find you. You understand what I'm saying? It has to kind of like happen, or somebody repost, or you stay active and you stay in the algorithm, because people don't get that. And they're like, oh, well, whatever. Instagram is owned by Facebook. They're all the same. They changed Instagram. The algorithm is totally different. It is not the same. You see the same damn 10, 15 people every time you try to refresh. So that's also restrictive. And Facebook has done that to restrict us and utilize, and I say Facebook because Facebook is Instagram, and they made Instagram that same model. Because I remember when I first went on Instagram, I'd see everybody that I was following. Now you can't even refresh after a while. It's going to give you the same people that are locked into your algorithm. So I tell people they have to stay busy. You can't just post once, this once, 2, 3, 4 days, then that means you're out of everybody's algorithm. You're done. Yeah. So even if you're posting and archiving or going live, you have to stay active to those that even fuck with you to keep them in your algorithm, period.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I sometimes tell the folks, when you ain't doing shit, go down your followers, whatever, go down there and just like the first page on somebody's shit. You know what I mean? Just like, your little picture. They're gonna love it. She liked my shit. Then that's gonna bring them back to your page, and they might not have forgot about. You know what I mean? It's not like they don't want to see your stuff. You're just out the algorithm. So you have to ignite that algorithm to keep it rolling. So even if it's those things in the morning, you're on the toilet, okay, let me go and let's engage with a lot of people. And I tell people, your followers, you got to tell them what to do. You literally have to tell them what to do. If you're going live or if you want them to reshare, hey guys, whatever, can you do me a favor and reshare and whatever? All those little people that you liked on their page, you made a little comment, oh, that's cute. Just little fans, people that's always on your page. Give them some love. The ones that are like super fans that are like, dang, he or she is always giving me love. They always giving love. They always being positive. Follow them back. Give them some love sometime. So then when it comes time to asking you to do something, can you share my shit or share my stuff, or you retweet this, let me know, or how they do the stuff in the stories and things like that. That literally creates a movement and keeps people engaged in your page and what you're doing. It is literally a job. It is not something, if you're not into it, and that's not something that some people are just, that's their life. They're all day, every day, and that's great because it keeps it rolling, especially if they have something to share. But if you don't, you have to do this like a job every morning, every night. And then like with Facebook, I know, most of the people are not Facebook, and that's just kind of like the base or whatever, but Facebook does have more followers than anything. The younger people I know have moved away and, more Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Snap or whatever. But Instagram has billions. Facebook has billions of followers, but it may not quite be your demographic always, but it still is going to be, because there's way more people that have Facebook than anything else. But I understand, that Instagram, because I don't like Facebook at all. I hate being on it. It's corny as hell. I'm just, I like dealing with Instagram and the people and the social and the fastness and all of that stuff. But you have to understand that is a very integral part of your business, just like accounting or anything else, or registrations or anything like that, that you just have to make it a part. And if you have to just carve out, a couple of hours a day to get this done, if you don't have anybody to do it or help you do it, or help you keep motivated, or and do those simple things to keep those people engaged, and especially the people that you see, even if you don't know them, they always fucking with you, they always liking your pictures, they always saying something. Give them some love sometime, because then when you ask them to do something, can you reshare? Oh, go to my whatever. They're gonna do it.
And I try to do a good job of that. And I always like to repost a lot of up and coming artists, choreographers, songwriters in my story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. You give them exactly. They're all of that. Put all of that.
How you feel like you almost kind of build a whole nother little movement just by like showing support. So I do agree with that, and I try to do that a lot. And like when I release a song, it'll be people I didn't even know that follow me. They'll post my song in their story. I repost it in my story with gratitude. Like I put their name big, so I'm like, I want people to see like you, because
and they love that. They love it. They love that you're acknowledging that they're doing that. And it goes a long ways, guys. So as you're building and doing so, like always keep that aspect, you know, in your mind. You know what I mean? Even if you don't feel like it, even if you ain't whatever. And I always say, like, girls, when you're taking pictures or you got your makeup done, and especially if you're at home right now and you whipped and dipped, go on and hit up. Like I have friends that literally do like a full on, I mean, it's not that deep to me, but they'll do a full on photo shoot, right? Especially you artists. Oh, my makeup's done, my hair is done. Change your clothes, hit a couple of pictures. So then when you're not doing shit, you can just, you know, when you're looking crazy, but you want to stay active and you want to give your fans something, you have some stuff in store that you could just swing and give them. You know what I mean? It's literally like that. So you're for you, babe, and your question also as well, your performance, you know, until we can get back to normal, is this box. And you got to be creative and you got to make it work. And, you know, and again, the music, if the music is dope, keep the music dope, stay true to yourselves. It's gonna come out. Somebody's gonna do it. And now I don't know if you guys are aggressive. Like if I was an artist, I'd be a little aggressive. My shit is whatever. I'm tagging who I want to see it. I want Nas or Pharrell or Shade Room or whoever else. I'm on it. I'm on a bumper. I'm tagging them. I'm not waiting. I'm not being too cool. And I'm not saying that it's I don't know either of you, but in case this does fit for you and applies to you, don't do that. Just don't. Tag who you want to. People are like, oh, I don't want to do hashtags. Why? You're not Prince. You're not Michael Jackson. You're none of these people. Put as many. You can only put what, 30 on Instagram before it becomes spam.
I'm not ashamed about hashtag. I'm a hashtag queen, and people used to talk about me and be like, "Oh, that looks dirty." I'm like, I'm not known. Like this is how you gain a community.
Yes, and then you know what I noticed that some people do. I have a friend. He's a major stylist, and he always has some great caption. But what he does is he does the great caption, right? Then he does a lot of spaces, and then all his hashtags are down there. So he's, you know, there's a lot of space, and then the hashtags, but who cares? But okay, you know, you guys have an aesthetic aspect of what you want to do. You can do that. But I'm telling you, the more you hashtag, the more people that will come to your page daily. And then, of course, you know, when things are going, you know, like Minneapolis or, you know, what's going on right now with the Minnesota, the thing that I was just watching live. What is that, Minneapolis? Yeah, Minneapolis police. And yeah. And, you know, you got trap rock, this, that, hip hop, new artists, you know what I mean? All of these things, because even A&R and other companies and marketing companies and advertising companies and people that, if they're good and know how to utilize social media, they really punch those hashtags. You know what I'm saying? Influencer, model, whatever. You could be putting Minnesota in there because you're like, this week, I know everybody's gonna be going to Minnesota. I hate when people do that, but I'm just, you know, that's a little trick that, you know, happens, you know, when you understand what's going on within that week and be like, oh, okay, Corona-19 or Corona COVID, you know, 19 or whatever. But utilize that 30 to, you know, I say do 29 because you don't want to be considered spam, but utilize those hashtags. They really, it works. And then it'll take sometimes just one person to share and love your music. So therefore it goes back to the basis of having good music. Also showing, if you're not ones, and I don't, like I said, I don't know either one of you, because you guys could be all of the epitome of things that are right. But if they're not, work them where they apply. If you are one that does not, oh God, I just lost my train of thought. It was good too. I forgot. But anyways, my bad. I forgot.
Well, I know
your age finally showed up.
Tupac stories. Tupac
Wait,
stories.
Oh God, let me see a Tupac story. Oh God, it's so many. It's just like, and I'm just like such a blank. That's so funny. And she said something, and I was like, oh, that's the one I'm gonna tell them. They're gonna crack up. What is? Okay, let me see. Oh God, I wanted to tell you guys something funny because there's so many like deep ones, and I'm actually gonna write a book, so I don't want to tell the deep ones. There was some funny one, like where. God, I mean, like this is a person, you guys, that I was supposed to be the president of Amaru Records. His like a play on Yasmin, Yafeo's mom, was always the general manager, and I I just remember he, and this is not a funny story. I'm just talking because I don't remember any of the funny stories tonight. But I actually have letters, 16-page letters that are from Pac from Rikers Island. And he used to write me and make his letters as, he'd mark me as an attorney so that the prison wouldn't open them. And I have tons of letters, 16 pagers front and back. I even have letters from when he was shot up there with at Puff Studio. I have letters breaking down the whole event well before he did the Vibe magazine article that it kind of explained what happened. And Pac was really prophetic. And when I say that, there's just people that are very intuitively sound. He was one that he knew that he was going to die before he turned 25. He used to always tell me that. He used to be like, I'm not going to make it till I'm 25. And I used to be like, why do you say that? Like, you just putting shit on the thing, you're going to make it true. Like, don't speak that into existence. He said, sorry, I've seen it. I've already seen it happen. I've got to get, if I don't do this for my family, meaning the family that he left behind, they're going to have nothing. And he says, and I have to hurry up. When he came home, he was really doing all of those. When he came home, he was working, he was playing around at night, you know, having fun, rolling around in his Benz, to going to Can-Am every day at 4 o'clock and working all night. Dog Pound, Daz and Corrupt have been working on the Dog Pound record for like 2 years, you know, and back then we took our time, you know, we had budgets, you know what I mean? And Pac came in, he had Johnny J, rest in peace, his producer, came in doing stuff. He'd be doing a song, come back, have Johnny J on the MPC right in the studio. And it's a trip because when you listen to a lot of the Pac's albums, like All Eyes on Me and stuff, and you know, it has a lot of features and stuff, like everybody's lyrics aren't as tight as him. And it's not because they're not dope. It's because Pac was not allowing you to be doing it over and over again. You go and hit it down. He'd be like, okay, that's good. Him, he'd be perfection. He knew how to double like nobody else's business. You know how when people double the vocals, it's always off a little bit. I've never known anybody that can literally rap and then have their doubles right on top without even having to blend them together. That was Pac. There's just so many, because, this is a good story that I'll tell you guys. And then I think I've told before that, that I don't mind. That's that's not gonna, take away from my book. It was his 50 niggas tattoo, that big Thug Life tattoo that he has on his thing. I remember a Fyne calling me. And she said, oh my gosh, Shari, please, can you do me a favor? I just talked to Tupac and he said he was gonna put Thug Life tattooed across his stomach. And I was like, she was like, just as big as day. And I was like, what? And she was like, please, you have to go up to, he's on Sunset at the Sunset Tattoo. You have to go up there and stop him, like, right? So I said, all right. So I rolled up there and I remember this guy named Tony used to do tattoos up on Sunset. And I went in there, there was nobody in there. And Pac was like, I said, hey, it was Tupac here? He was like, oh yeah, I just finished tatting him or whatever. And I was like, did he get Thug Life big on his stomach? He said, oh yeah, I did a really big one like this, whatever. So I ended up calling the Fyne and I was like, Fyne, I think I was too late. He's already gotten it done. So when I met up with him, he showed it to me. I went off because I was always like I was a little older than him, but I was like more like the big sis, like the mama figure. I was very protective of him because when I first met Pac, he was being, how I was introduced to him. I don't remember. I think we met like on a tour with like Flavor Unit and being on tour up at KMEL and, and he would be on tour with Digital Underground and stuff like that. And I just remember him coming to California and we were really young. And I just remember at a pool party and, I'm from LA, so I was pretty popular in LA and I've been in the mix for a minute. And so everybody was, coming up to me, hey, Shari, whatever. And he kept looking and he had met me on tour and he was like, who are you? I was like, what do you mean? Who are you? Pac is me, nigga. We was just on tour together. No, I know that, but why are all these motherfuckers coming up to you? Why are they, who are you? Where are they? I said, well, I'm from here. I'm a native, I work in the business, blah, blah. I I also work with Easy, blah, blah. They were like, oh. So then he was like, well, I need to get to know you. And you're going to be my friend. Because he just vibed and saw that, you know, I was saying hi to everybody and everybody knew me or whatever. So cut to, we became friends. Then he would call me, ask me for advice. And then he was about to, they were trying to kill him in Richmond because he had, there was a kid that got killed at at a concert of his. And so they were literally blaming him because, you know, something about security and something, whatever. So they were trying to blame him and people were threatening his life. And at the time I had a girlfriend named Gia, and she was house sitting this basketball player's house on Malibu Beach. He was gone for the summer, so he had her house sit. So she was like, yo, we have this whole house on the beach, and, you know, Shari, come stay with me. So it was just me and her on this 3-level fly-ass house on the beach. And Pac had called, and he was like frantic. And I told him, I said, yo, you should come down here and stay with us for a couple of weeks and let things die down, you know, get away. You have your own floor. We all got our own floor. It's like right on the beach. And he came and he stayed with us for a couple of weeks. And then from there, he decided to come and move to Los Angeles. And I actually am the one that took him around and got him his first little rental off of Coldwater in the Valley. And then from there, we were thick as thieves. He confided in me in a lot of stuff. And I advised him on a lot of things. We would argue a lot because he used to always say, like, you ain't my mama. You know, I'm like, well, your mama told me to, you know, look out and do stuff like that. His mom used to come and all his family would stay at my mother's house back in the day. So there's a lot of like great stories, and there's a lot of real deep and tragedy, you know, kind of stories that I would get into later when I write the book. But he was a real prophetic king. He knew things that were going to happen. He knew that he was going to die. He said it. He said, they're going to kill me. I know that they are. I've seen it happen, Shari. So that Machiavelli record, and you see him in heaven and all of that stuff, like that shit is he knew this. It wasn't like coincidental. He knew that he was going to die. And even well before he was like tied in with Suge and all of that stuff, he knew it. He was like, I'm not going to live very long. So I know I have to do all of this stuff now. I've seen it. I prophesized it. I know it. And I've accepted it. I just don't know where it's going to come from. And that used to really trip me out. And even I'm quite intuitive too. I'm a Virgo. I'm not a psychic, but just my natural ability has probably enabled me to succeed also in this business. Not dating any niggas in this business also too, ladies. That's how I've maintained my respect in this business. And Easy taught me that. That's something that I want to tell you guys. Not that you do, this doesn't sound like you do. Or like Janelle, she's sweet, she's pretty, and I know the guys, you know, they come at you, they take advantage or try to. Easy taught me, do not date any men in the business. He said, Shari, when you first start working, I didn't know anybody. I wasn't from Compton, I was from Windsor Hills. I'm from a pretty affluent family. So I didn't know stuff about the streets and all of that, even though I grew up in Windsor Hills. But he says, Guy, you've only been working. I was a college student. He was like, you don't know any of these people. You don't know none of these niggas from Compton. But I'm gonna tell you right now, not to date any guys in this business. And not like, you know, he was trying to keep people from me. He says, you're very smart, you're really pretty, but I can already tell from the niggas that I know that they don't even know you. And they're upset that I've allowed you to be this close to me, and I wouldn't allow any of these niggas around me that close. He says, but they're already trying to make up things and stories, and I know that they don't know anything about you. He says, so I'm gonna give you some advice. If you wanna sustain yourself in this business, do not date any of these men in the business. Half of them are gay, or half of them are bitch-like. And as soon as you're not gonna date them, they're gonna, you know, run your name through the mud. He said, get you a square or a street nigga. And that's exactly what I did through the entire process of my tenure. And I think that is why I have sustained myself this long. I have the respect that I do as a woman that's not too ugly. And for me, because I'm not an artist and there's not something that I really need from a producer, people used to be like, well, how do you get the respect? You're pretty, you're whatever. I said, I have a talent in making myself, and with intelligence and knowing what you need, I have a talent in making myself unapproachable, meaning I can be nice in business and smile, but I can also make you feel like if you come at me like that, you're going to feel stupid. And it's not something that I say. I think it's a part of my just being in hip hop, being surrounded by men and having to have, and not saying like a bitch attitude or tough, but yeah, I've had to toughen my exterior, and you know, I've had to get niggas off of clients that I know that are in the business. And unfortunately, because I come from Los Angeles and I helped a lot of street dudes, that I have love in a lot of hoods. So I never had I've never had an aspect of where I've needed security or whatever. I've had to get street niggas off of my clients, but they respected me and the people that loved me. So I was able to navigate through Los Angeles and through this game very well. And that's because I didn't date the men that I had to do business with or I worked with. And the respect stayed there. And then as I grew and in the business, and I helped, you know, a lot of our counterparts, because there weren't people in Los Angeles in these offices that were showing the writers and producers that I've worked with and that I know and I've helped. They weren't doing it for them. So when I came to ASCAP, I really put it down for the culture, meaning not just Los Angeles, but for hip hop itself in regards to teaching, showing. I set up a lot of programs there. I was a national speaker at ASCAP for a very long time. And I'm an advocate for ASCAP, and not because I used to work there, and I'm gonna say this, I know you're a CSAC writer, and they're small, and it sounds like they're getting you work, but I'm gonna tell you the difference between the three, and not because they don't pay me a dime to work there, it's because I know. ASCAP is the better organization out of the three. They collect more licenses out of the three, and they do not take other people's money like BMI and all of these other societies and give it to other writers to pull them in. ASCAP works on it's owned by the public. It's not private owned like CSAC and BMI. It's owned by the public. It's a public organization owned by the songwriters and the publishers themselves, and they work out of an operating expense, meaning that they only have a certain amount, let's say 15, 18% that they collect, and that's all that they will utilize for their staffing and all of this stuff. BMI, the worst. That's why CSAC's been bought, this, that, whatever. Also, the major difference, and I tell writers this, is that ASCAP sustains its value on the longevity of the copyright, meaning that if you literally have a song, so you two, you and Jamila have a song, okay? You own 50, you own 50. Came out, it's popping. You guys might get your checks. And right about now in 2020, today, let's say Jamila's CSAC and your ASCAP. Babe, it's gonna be probably the same. And maybe one of you guys might have, you know, today might, you know, Jamila's check might be a little bit bigger than hers or vice versa, but they're gonna probably be the same. But as the catalog gets older, ASCAP is going to sustain its value. So let's say it's like $10, $9 a unit, a quarter, or you know, a credit into 220. And let's say in 20 years from now, it's $30 a credit. Jamila at BMI or CSAC, that sustained value as it gets older is going to go down. Babe, you are going to sustain your value at $10 when it was popping in 2020. You're gonna keep $10 of credit even as it grows older to $230. You, however, as it grows older, you might have even been getting a little bit more money than her. You know, your checks might have been a few $100s more or whatever, but as it gets older, your stuff is going to go down. I know this because I spoke on panels. I took Tupac's whole catalog from BMI for that very reason post his death. I worked on it for a year. I crunched all the numbers. I showed a Fyne post his death what these things would be. Most of my publishing administration clients, I have literally, if they're not publishers, I've taken from those other organizations and put them over at ASCAP for that very same reason. Most of the producers that work for, let's say your organization, CSAC, like Trevor and whoever else is over there, they were producers back in the day. Guess where all their catalog is? It's at ASCAP. And I used to kill them all on panels, literally
Are you serious?
I swear to God, I used to be like Trevor at ASCAP. What's the other dude? I think it's Trevor or the other dude at ASCAP, James. One of them at CSAC. I used to be like, so if your organization, they'll all be this, it's better, and I would kill them all the time. Why is all of y'all's catalog still with ASCAP? And then I would tell the audience why. Why? Because he knows that it's going to maintain its value. Even though he works for this company, he's not going to take his stuff and put it at this company where he's not going to get any money. It would just be a case closed. And that is just literally the fact. Not because I work there, it's because I'm also a publishing administrator with songwriters, producers, and things like that. And I want them to sustain their value as it gets older. And a lot of times people pick their society just based upon where they live. You know what I mean? It might not be, in Atlanta, I know BMI has a huge presence there. They're based out of huh?
Yeah, I used to be with CSAC, but I'm with BMI now because in Atlanta, it's like that's the it's a big
right, exactly. And I know because
I never knew that.
So,
what you just said, I just learned. I didn't even know.
Yeah,
that.
most people don't. And so literally, I would always say that the term of the agreement, the lesser
really
the term, the better the organization. So ASCAP's term is 1 year, BMI is 2 years, and then CSAC is 3 years. So I always say that's the order of the efficiency of the organization. And I can only fairly say that is because, CSAC is much smaller. It's, hasn't been a long run. And when you're smaller, the whole aspect is they go and grab licenses from public performance venues and things like that, or TV and television and things like that have a public medium. That's where they get these licenses from. And so they're just able to collect more. They've been around longer. They sustain its value longer. It's an organization literally built for the songwriters and the organization. They are the ones that go on to Congress and fight for your rights. You will never see CSAC or BMI doing that because BMI is literally the Broadcasters Music Incorporated. And that is who you go and broadcasters go and get licenses from. So it's a private organization and it's never going to give you the same value that it is because of what it is. I just know now, even at BMI, they have, because I still have publishing clients over there. So I deal with this different societies because I have old catalogs that are there. And they don't even have departments to where you can call. Where there's issues, it's taking me over 6 months to rectify a distribution issue because they no longer have the assistant, the thing, because they don't have the money. And if you find yourself noting that or having to make corrections or things like that, you'll notice that I'm surprised they're still around and haven't, gone bankrupt. But yeah, those are the major differences. And a lot of people don't know that, not unless you're a major catalog holder or, someone in publishing will be able to explain and show you that.
All right, I want to thank you guys for blessing the channel and giving us a lot of game, Miss Henry. Those were some
You're welcome.
Those were some great questions, Babe Animal.
I know, I'm so excited to get familiar with the ladies. And Kev, thank you so much for having me on. I'll have to check you out.
Kenya,
oh yeah, and
we love you.
And Kenya, she's been texting me. And Jamila, it was nice meeting you, sweetheart. And of course, my girl Sylky, she dropped off the map, but it's all love, always, sister girl. And you guys hit me up anytime.
Yes, we definitely need to connect.
We're in Atlanta. We gotta connect.
We do. I need to get your IG and everything.
Look.
And my IG is my name. My IG is just my name.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. You guys let them know where to find you on IG.
Oh, on IG it's Shari Henry, Charis. It looks like Charis, but it's pronounced Shari, and it's last name Henry, Henry.
Babe Animal.
Yes, my Instagram is Babe Animal ATL, and my website is www.babeanimal.com. Check out my new single called Fire Away. It's one word, Fire Away, FIREAWAY. All on every platform you can think of, and click the link in my video, in my bio on my Instagram to see my latest indie video of some trap rock hotness.
Okay, Jamila.
Nice. So yeah, my IG is Viva_Mila. I'm just gonna give you a heads up. Like, I haven't posted in a minute, but yeah, still follow me because I'm gonna get on my Instagram stuff. So
Yeah, you about to be on it. That's okay. You moving forward. You about to get back on it. Match it up with your talent.
Yeah.
Let's connect, Jamila.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm gonna hit you up.
Miss Henry gave you the blueprint for Instagram, so go do it. Grow
Yeah,
your
she
followers
did.
and everything.
She
You
showed
too,
it.
babe.
Thank you, ladies and gents. It's so real. Anytime, guys, hit me up. Thanks again, Kev. I appreciate you, brother. And thank you for actually doing this panel for women. We don't get it enough.
Right.
It means a lot. You know what I mean? We matter. And thank you so much, brother. That means a lot. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, nice meeting you guys.
Okay, you too.
Bye.
Much love.
All right. Yeah, that was cool, man. Thanks.
Yes. Thank you so much. I'm logging out.
Okay.
Peace out, y'all.
All right, y'all. That's gonna do it for the ladies of hip hop. We did over 2 hours for you guys. They try to check out before the 1 hour mark. Once again, thanks, Miss Kenya Ware. Appreciate you. I'm finna run over to Instagram and follow these ladies. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys got some game out of it. I told you guys a while back, we're gonna make this more versatile and try to open up our audience. And as always, my platform's available for those that need it and need to reach more followers and want to network. I'm here, and appreciate you guys for the super chats. Appreciate you guys for tuning in for over 2 hours. I don't know if I'll come back on tonight, but tomorrow I'll be on. So see you guys. Peace.